After 10 hours of dialogue, the parties were unable to reach an agreement that would benefit the Panamanian workers who are affected by the reforms to the Social Security Fund promoted by the government. In spite of the lack of agreements, the banana unions informed that they will resume talks on Wednesday in order to address the people's social and labor demands. For more than a month, thousands of people took to the streets to protest the national government's failure to meet the sector's demands. In other news, Pope Leo XIV received United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Wednesday to discuss world peace and current crises across the world. During the meeting held in the studio of Paul VI Lecture Hall at the Vatican City, the two authorities debated on the Holy See's support for the United Nations commitment to world peace and the difficulties of the organization is facing while dealing with some of the crises currently unfolding in the world. Guterres met successively with the Vatican Secretary of State Cardinal Pietro Parolin and with Archbishop Paul Richard Gallagher, Secretary for Relations with the States and international organizations. The government of Bolivia and China consolidate their strategic relations through agreements on the occasion of the 40th anniversary of the establishment of bilateral relations. The Bolivian Foreign Ministry informed about the progress in the agreements between both countries after a meeting between the Foreign Minister Celinda Sosa and the Ambassador of China to Bolivia, Wang Liang. With a memorandum of understanding for global development, Bolivia details that both countries seek to expand and consolidate relations that promote cooperation in health, poverty reduction, industrialization and South-South cooperation. The text details that the financing of strategic, technological and natural disaster projects by Beijing, with which it is positioned as its main commercial partner. In Brazil, movements fighting for decent housing marched in Sao Paulo against the wave of evictions promoted by the extreme right-wing governorships that command the mayor's office and the state. Social movements and human rights organizations took to the streets of downtown Sao Paulo to talk of public policies that guarantee decent housing for the most vulnerable. It is worth noting that so far this year, more than 3,000 families have been evicted in the metropolitan region, many of them without relocation options. These actions put the most vulnerable population at risk and continue to be one of the most urgent issues on the social agenda in Brazil. Austria came to a standstill on Wednesday to mourn victims of one of the worst outbreaks of violence in its modern history, as authorities search for clues to why a 21-year-old gunman shot dead 10 people at his former high school before killing himself. The dead were commemorated with a minute's silence at 10 a.m. local time. Churches rang funeral bells, including St. Stephen's Cathedral in Vienna, where around 900 public transport vehicles halted for a minute. 6 girls and 3 boys aged 14 to 17 were among the victims. All the dead, bearing 1 Polish youth, were Austrian citizens. A teacher died from her injuries and 11 people injured are in stable condition. Police said the man had acted alone in Tuesday's rampage, armed with a shotgun and a pistol. They also stated that he had left a farewell note and video that did not reveal the motive for the attack. In this context, Austria declared 3 days of national mourning. An unprecedented heat wave in May caused temperatures in Iceland and Greenland to soar several degrees above normal, dangerously accelerating the melting of the Arctic ice sheet. This was revealed by an analysis published on Wednesday by a World Weather Attribution, which directly associates the phenomenon to climate change caused by human activity. According to the study, Greenland's ice sheet melted 17 times faster than the previous average. According to a study published in 2022 in the scientific journal Nature, the Arctic region is at the forefront of global warming, heating up 4 times faster than the rest of the planet since 1979.
So what we found by looking at this extreme heat, particularly over Iceland, but we also looked over parts of Greenland, that it was an absolute record-breaking event. So it was much hotter than May has ever been in Iceland. At least so the sort of it was the hottest 1 week that Iceland has ever had in May. With this study, it is super obvious, as you've said, with the melting of the Greenland ice sheet, the potential impacts on the global ocean circulation, that basically is an extreme event that affects the whole world, even though most of the people on this planet won't have heard of this heat wave.
Brian Wilson, the leader of the legendary U.S. rock band from the 60s, the Beach Boys, died at the age of 82. His death was announced Wednesday by his family, but no further details were provided as to the cause of death, when and where he died. Wilson's genius for melody arrangements and wide-eyed self-expression inspired hit songs that made him one of the world's most influential recording artists. The Beach Boys rank among the most popular groups of the rock era, with more than 30 singles in the top 40 and worldwide sales of more than $100 million. The 1966 album Pet Sounds was voted #2 in a 2003 Rolling Stone list of the best 500 albums, losing out only to the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. The group was voted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in